Oops, SDB. Let's start like this. So
Yeah. No, we are now.
You start over from the beginning.
no, I don't. We were small talk anyway. It was not the formalities. I still do some pre-announcements. So we have the dinner this evening, and as you already got used to raising your hand, who will join the dinner and registered for the dinner this evening? Counter check who is not registered for the dinner. Okay,
And what
so
will come?
and
I'm curious.
right, so then I guess Robert, you can just count the people who are in there, and you can make the
I
maximum.
think it's everyone but one in this room.
Yeah, so that's good. So therefore, you have a good number. You see that I'm wearing an ELISA t-shirt. If you also want to have one, I don't have one yet. We have a few left, and we don't want to carry them home. You can find stickers as an option for the open source projects, which are outside, a bunch of them. What we also have new this time is that we first time bring a demo, because Jan Simon from AGL, who is also here, took the last week and some time of it to bring the Meta ELISA from the automotive workgroup back to latest AGL release. So you can see our instrument cluster Qt-based demo outside in the break. So use it maybe to just pass by. Also find some one pages which you can share with your colleagues or whatever. So these are the things. And I don't know if we collected more virtual audience.
Yes, we have a few more, 18 now.
Okay, good. Then I think I go for the formal part.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, then.
just let me see a little PowerPoint. Just go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super important. We thank a lot to Volvo for hosting us again
Thank you.
after last week. So, and when we came, the room was prepared. There's great food outside, so thanks for organizing this all. I know you have made the trip yesterday also to get all the food, and well, it's super cool to have you, that you're welcoming us. So then, next slide is just where we go. We're in the welcome part. I have some organizational things which are important to mention. We will try to look into the schedule, and there's a bit of project orientation, but as we should finish in like 20 minutes, including like welcoming, I need to improve, I need to find out something on my own, how to do it. We'll just rush through things. So first of all, antitrust policy. Again, that's the first one. I don't know if I changed the order. Yeah, that's in there. So we are here with a lot of automotive OEM tiers. We have aerospace. So basically we are competitors in the room, and you should follow antitrust regulations. You're not talking about market sizes. You're not talking about prices you take. Basically, you can talk about general technical challenges, things how to collaborate on things bring forward. We also make notes here. We have a recording of things. If you're not happy with the recording, you need to also mention this, or don't speak up, leave the room, whatever. But at least it's important that you work according to antitrust. And if you're like in a company like I am, I have to do this training. So I hope most of you have at least heard about antitrust things. And otherwise, don't tell something which you would not publish directly in the internet. Not just the rule of thumb or something like that. Next slide, licensing of the workshop. We assume that everything which is in here is Creative Commons. So what you share, the material and so on are later on shared. It should be for the wider good of all communities and so on. Next one is presentation and recordings. We were not having this straight in there, so we added this slide. We assume that those which are presenting today are okay to share the slides, that we publish them, we distribute them. Normally we have the recordings on published on YouTube, for example, of a channel there. We do some social promotion because we figure out that's hard to love for the interaction. No.
I have to bring you.
Okay, cancel. Save, cancel.
Then we go, yeah, something like that, and click on the OK, get out of there. Thank you.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay.
So I speak Japanese. That's it. We have a lot of Japanese people here, but it's okay. Right. This is something we always said, okay, we publish under Creative Commons 4.0. but we never said it so explicitly, and we had internal discussion to make sure that when someone presents something, you should be aware this is something which will get shared. And if you are against it, or if you have hesitations, we just tell us, we switch off the recording or so.
Yeah.
It would be nice to let the people know upfront, but because
Right.
then people can take better notes or so.
And
That's,
like I said, just the caveat is we don't know what's gonna be happening on the virtual side. But we will stop recording and we won't put it up on YouTube. We've done that in the past.
next slide.
Sorry.
Code of conduct. There is this link to the Linux Foundation Code of Conduct. Short version, be excellent to each other. So behave like you would behave to your best friend, and just suddenly tell every truth you mean or so, right? Just be excellent. Chatham House Rule, this was in the registration form in the past, and it caused a lot of confusion what Chatham House Rule means. We said we were typically waiving it. So, but like what you need to know if we run fully under Chatham House Rule, which means like everything in this room is clear, but as soon as you leave the room, you will not tell this was said by this person from this company. Anyway, anyone who's here represents individual statements. I guess they will mention explicitly if they talk for the conference, company, not conference, for the company or entity they are allocated with. But please indicate if you want to run anything explicitly under Chatham House Rule, if you have any explicit parts. Most interesting thing, we had people who said they want to follow Chatham House Rule, don't want to be named or anything. And later on dropped me a message that they were complaining they were not mentioned on the LinkedIn post. I said, well, I cannot because you said you want to run under Chatham House Rule, so you have never been there. Of course, we have the recordings for later on, but that's in there. So basically just Chatham House Rule, tell us if you want to apply it, if you think it's worth for the discussion, it helps. If you don't know what it is, read on Wikipedia. If you still don't understand it, maybe it's nothing which you want to bother about. What else do we have? Roundtable introductions. I guess we cannot have the name and affiliation and things for everybody. I don't know if we will.
I think we've got enough.
Okay,
We've got 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so
we have
fine. It's enough time. Just don't ramble too much.
Then, my name is Philipp. I am coming from ETAS. I'm wearing the ELISA t-shirt today because I'm the technical steering committee chair. I had organized a lot of things for the workshop today. So that's also what made me come to this workshop. But personally, really, the statement for coming here is that I would like to get more collaboration across the community. So I have a few sessions there. I would like to see how we get all these projects in safety critical space together, that we're not running in different directions. Kate.
Kate Stewart, Linux Foundation, Director for the ELISA Project, been working with Philip and Gab and the rest of the TSC on building up our community so that we can get more collaboration happening. And I will pass it on.
I'm Weingartner. I'm from Red Hat. I work at autonomous driving for trains and have been participating online, so I wanted to be on site for once.
Hello, I'm Yuichi Tsukabe from Honda Motor in Japan. So currently I'm software chief architect and Honda open source program also tech lead. So today I have one presentation how's going AGL STB reference platform. So thank you.
My name is Hans Torsen Lam. I'm an independent consultant. Last assignment there is on 5-year IoT cloud. And now I'm helping a small enterprise with the energy grid that you know is in terrible state in Europe. We're on into incident in Spain. So I hope what I learned here I can bring back to my small box company. Thank you.
And Simon, you want to go and we take like
Yeah.
this?
And then we'll go around.
Jan Simon Möller. I'm with Automotive Grade Linux. I brought the demo and I'm here to, help with the collaboration.
My name is Jadai Shen, and I'm a DevOps student here in Mama. And I'm here because I'm really curious about the security area, and I would like to learn more and talk a lot of the things and ask a lot of while I have the questions under my studies. So
Hello, I am Pedro Roque. I am a postdoc now at KTH in Stockholm. The reason why I'm here is that I'm interested on the space grade Linux components and also to maybe disseminate a bit of the work that we have been doing in space robotics at KTH.
Very short interrupt. Other people who are interested in space, shall lift your hands.
Interested or professionally interested?
No. Just for taking to further discussing maybe during the day or
Or a breakout.
in the breakout,
Yeah.
something like this. So shortly lift your hand again and then just turn around so that you can see some people are in it, because many are there from automotive, right? But therefore, just say like, here's some space for space. Okay.
So I'm Olivier Charrier from Wind-River. I'm a functional safety specialist within Wind-River, following, I would say, all the markets where you need safety and an operating system. And according that there's a growing, I would say, usage of Linux in safety critical system, I'm very interested to come here, talk, contribute to it. So I'm PSC member of ELISA and also an ambassador.
I'm Alessandro Carminati. I'm from Red Hat. In Red Hat, I work in the automotive kernel, in the enablement of the various platform. For the ELISA perspective, I'm a TSC member and also run the Linux feature working group, which is working on the kernel area, more or less. Thank you.
Daniel, go first like this and then take the other circle.
Daniel, colleague of Philipp, actually also from.
You're incognito.
I'm spending my time essentially primarily in the Eclipse SDV working group, developer, maintainer of one of our projects there, plus everything else that comes with trying to get life into a community. And I try to learn mostly being a part of the ELISA OSEC breakout group that was leading. So that's my connection to ELISA.
I'm Nicole. I'm a safety consultant and sometimes an assessor. I'm a TSC member here. What else? I'm the safety manager of the ELISA Project, a nice RTOS in the open source world. And together with Kate, I run the FUSA special interest group at SPDX. And tomorrow, I show you a little bit about what's going on in that group for the SPDX safety profile.
I'm Gabriele Paoloni. I work at Red Hat as an open source leader for functional safety. I am the governing board chairman in ELISA, and the reason why I'm here is that, well, community-wise, I'm looking for common ground of collaboration with the Eclipse SDV, and technically, we'll have a couple of sessions, one about requirements, low-level requirements definition for the Linux kernel, and the other one about starting an open source standard for open source best practices, basically a sort of quality standard that is tailored for open source projects. And yeah, that's it. So, Igor.
Okay. Hello, Igor Stoppa. I work for NVIDIA, software safety architect, mostly kernel. What I've been doing for the last 3 years with ELISA has been discussing, sharing findings about kernel and safety.
Well, I'm Teller, I work for CodeThink, trying to apply safety to the Linux kernel for a few years, and Trustable Software Framework is our latest approach to that, which I'll talk about later. I'm the chair of the Open Source Engineering Process Group at ELISA, so I tend to be talking more about the process side and less about the kernel, although I really love the kernel as well, so we often get into deep technical discussions. I can't resist it.
Hans Galinde, Eclipse Foundation. I'm pretty much here because Philipp invited me. Trying to connect the dots between, and I'm responsible for the automotive ecosystem on the Eclipse Foundation side, trying to connect the dots, making sure we are not reinventing every wheel what could be reinvented if it comes to
how to apply safety in open source.
Very short interrupt for the virtual participants. I know, yeah, it will go around, but what I thought is like, if you also want to cover the 20 plus people virtual,
Yes,
it would be nice for the virtual if they shortly type in
in the chat,
affiliation and what brought them here in the chat.
very good point.
This is something, and those which think they will take an active role and want to speak up, you can always do it later. But if you already from the virtual side think, okay, I will maybe say something during the day or so or tomorrow, raise your hand that you maybe get the chance to introduce yourself, right? So that we shortly put it on the screen there, and it would be best if you can turn on your camera if you have one. Don't need to. Just to mention. And now we continue introduction about name affiliation and what brought you here in the outer circle. Or do you want to start first? You just joined, but
Okay.
just name what brought you here and the affiliation.
Okay, I am David, co-founder of Arduino. I came to about crazy things, hopefully.
Great.
Okay.
You continue there.
Hello, my name is Thomas. I'm from Infineon Automotive Division. I'm also leading in RISC-V International, the automotive working group, and I'm very interested how we can work together and where I can help.
Great, thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Esther. I'm from Volvo Cars. I'm a functional safety person. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's me. I'm Robert Fekete, happen to host this together with colleagues back there. And I'm part of the Linux evangelist at Volvo Cars, trying to fight hard. Same way.
Håkan Sidenkrona, Volvo Cars, safety guy, and then we will talk about continuous deployment tomorrow.
Nasruddin Mahmoud from Volvo Cars. I work in software integration, especially related to system performance analysis. So I'm here to understand how Linux support this kind of feature.
Great.
Nicolas, Volvo Cars, student and researcher in the area of modern operating systems, middleware.
Very good student.
Grown up.
I grew up.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bogdan, affiliated with Wind River. This is my first time here, and I just want to know more about the topic. Cool.
I am Jesus Modet, Universidad Juan Carlos. I'm a researcher, mainly interested in open source software development, and I'm here to learn.
Richie, it's your time to stand up and raise the voice again so that we get
Yeah.
information for the 9 rows behind. So let's get it, just speak
Hello
up.
everyone, my name is Luigi, I'm from Italy, I'm a principal software code engineer at Red Hat. And I'm a member of the technical steering committee of ELISA. I'm here because I'm a maintainer of a tool that we create in ELISA to create establish traceability for the software requirement. And tomorrow I will have a talk about that. Thanks.
Oh, raise your voice.
Or
For the O.
Hello, my name is Artem. I'm from Ecom Systems. I'm driving safety compliance for Zen project for quite some time already. And we're almost there. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, I'm Isaac Trez from Electrobit. Pretty relevant to be here since we offer Linux for safety applications. And it was only an hour flight from Germany, which is also nice. And yeah, we're interested in the stuff around the operating system, like what other stuff do you need beyond the operating system, compilers, libraries, frameworks, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so I'm Edgar Iglesias. I'm with AMD. I'm a principal software engineer. I work with embedded software team, mostly on open source stuff, like the Sun hypervisor, QEMU, and others. Thanks.
So my name is Napata from the Renaissance Japan. I'm new to here, but I'm not new to the open source community. Some people already know them. I have a strong belief the open source is the only viable option for the sustainability, and I want to make the all open source, including the Linux, the Fire, and everything, in safety compliant. So I just want to discuss with you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kimberly McGuire. I'm a robotics engineer and currently an independent contractor. And I'm also the co-lead of the aerial robotics infrastructure group of the robotics operating system, together with the drone code foundation as well. And I'm here to learn. It's my first time here. So I'm very curious what the people that I'll talk to and potential collaboration. So hi.
Hi, Stefan Ventura, Electrobit, and I'm trying to get connected back to ELISA since I've been out there for a few years.
Hi, Konrad Moss from Volvo Cars. I am a member of the Volvo Cars Open Source Program Office, but also being part of the ELISA Project we run together with Robert. And I'm here because Robert told me to be here.
Hi, I'm Thomas Breckley, also Volvo Cars. I'm new to Volvo Cars. I'm also here because Robert told me to be here, but it is also my first ELISA Linux Foundation event. I work here as the system architect and engineer in the security gateway in the high performance compute. I'm not new to open source because I did a lot before when I was colleagues with Philipp and Ansgar and Daniel with Kavesa and the SDV community. So this is a new community for me. So thank you.
My name is Osama Hoffman. I'm with Woven Toyota, based in Japan. I'm the open source software, one of the open source software leads in the business. I've been doing open source software for a couple of decades now, but safety critical is new for me, and so I came here to learn more about it and figure out how we can incorporate that into open source software.
Hello, I'm Wendy, and I also come from the I'm a functional application engineer, and I have more or less 10 years experience on qualification in the railway industry and the automotive industry. So I want to learn more about software components qualification and past. And I came because Osama asked me to come.
I'm Julius Gustafsson. I'm also from Volvo Cars, also one of Robert's hangouts. I've been doing embedded Linux for a long time, but not in production at the moment. Now we're actually doing Rust on a bare metal ECU. So bringing open source to automotive is a passion of mine.
Last but not least. Yeah, so not the least, I'm Murshid Kasmi, safety specialist with Volvo Cars, the same team as Open. Yeah, and about open source software, I think we see that open source software has produced a lot of dependable examples across the industry. Now I want to learn how does it shape the industry, the automotive segment.
Great. So I check.
Okay.
We have a few responses in the
Yes,
chat.
we do have some responses in the chat.
Just bring this up. Well, we have nobody who could be raised in hand. Oh, I've got lower again. So let's just see. We have Naresh. I chatted with him before. He may be in person tomorrow if we have a spot, but I guess Ansgar is leaving tomorrow, so we may get a free spot, right?
Absolutely, if I need to leave today.
And then we have Troy in there, working for Informagnus. They're working on continuous compliance. They've been active also in the leader as a contributor. There's a okay, he was just like reading Baldwin, was surprised to say exciting. Yeah, we have Thomas in there from the Czech Aerospace Research Center. Maybe we have you next time in person, we can talk more about aerospace and space. Let's see where things go. Looks like then it's also Czech based, so we have Europe parking there.
Yes, it's chip based. Yeah.
Nice to hear your voice. With Jana from Canonical in the compliance team, and she wants to be in the latest state of OSS safety parts. Ito-san from AGL OSPO expert group in Japan, who couldn't make it in person but planned to originally. Working for, is it in there? Toyota, it's already in the name, so it's also here. Great. Mark from EAV, maybe we meet him again in Northern Germany, part of the night video of Gifhorn. Yeah, functional safety connected embedded systems with the main interest for software defined vehicle. Ishi-san, I think Ito-san wasn't planning to come. Ishi-san wanted to come in person from Panasonic. Right, interested in AGL, ELISA, etc., how they collaborate. Joined by the, or will interact in the session which I have with Kusakawa-san. Then we have Takashi-san from Honda. I think we met in the past. So I guess you're the virtual participant to Kusakawa-san's in-person part. Especially interested in the automotive order stack. And we have Cornelius, or Cornelius, at Senium Mine in Belgium. We met, I guess, at an embedded, at an open source summit once, and that's how Hugo made it today also here virtually. So maybe also some place to meet again in person. These are the responses from the virtual participants. And it's Patrick. Oh, sorry, I just ran over Patrick. So Patrick is also there from the DLR at the Aerospace Center, but he's in the automotive domain, which is nice to see also how industry, cross-industry works. Interested in the module safety, brings a strong hardware background, I guess, embedded background. That's what I at least know from the meetings. And no, as you see, it's interesting Xen, Linux, Kotlin, etc. So you can see the low parts of stack. This will be a topic which you can see on many parts through on these projects targeting for functional safety and open source. Good. And that. Rushing through, we are over time, and we have a long Ask Me Anything session, and I can speed up there.
Okay.
We should speak about the schedule, where we are. So we run late. That's normal for ELISA workshops. So you need to get used to it directly at the beginning. That's why we relaxed and took longer breaks in between. Like you can see, half an hour break. Nobody needs such a long break, but we will fill it. So that's why we have a little bit relaxed schedule path in there. Right. We will continue with the Arduino Potenter X8. So I'm very happy that they will present it. I saw you at the European Open Source Awards as the winner of the European Open Source Awards when they were inaugural ceremony. So you're really kind of the prominent, or the what do you call prominent person, or the celebrity in the room.
That's two autographs later.
Autographs later. We have a short presentation. If it's getting longer, I guess we have also here some time to just run over and go into the next. So don't mind too much. If it's 20 minutes, just take so. We'll take the example system. I cut off the title. There were a lot of other open source projects mentioned here as well as there, but I couldn't fit it on one slide. So therefore, it's basically just cross-community efforts, working with adjacent communities. This will lead one into the other, break in between in case there are discussions needed outside, and then we're done and go for a very nice dinner at Stewart. We've been there last year. It was very good food and very nice conversations and a nice atmosphere. So I hope it will be the same this time again. This will conclude day one. Brief look on day two. No, first the dinner location, yes. So it's the Stewart Södergatan 6, and I think we have it in the invitation also, so you should find the way. It's in the invitation. And you can walk there. It's like European or German walking distance, I don't know. And for US participants who are used, there's also tram and the bus, or you take a taxi. Well, it's nice, and you go through the old part of the city, so you get a look of view, and the weather is good today. We're lucky still, so that's big to go. Next slide is then really the Tuesday one. We start with safety Linux versus safe Linux, or safe Linux versus safety, however you call it. We already heard that there's a lot of concepts here, and we want to take this. So Paul and I will go through this tomorrow morning. And then we have a more hardware-centric discussion with Alessandro and Olivier guiding through it. So it's really go like hardware level things that will fill the morning. Then we have the special things. What you have seen, the other sessions have been more typically like an hour to an hour 30, which we made like this, that the maximum presentation time should be 30 minutes, in best case less. And then we have more time for discussion, because this was what brought us a lot of schedule in the past. So that's what we adjusted. But here we have the special topics part in, which is more like take it, go through, talk, not a long time of Q&A, more like the 5 minutes Q&A, whatever. Bring the things into the break time or into later time of the day. It was just like squeezing in also some of the very interesting parts where we couldn't span full session, but it will give us enlightening things on the peaks for space, the aesthetic safety profile, the safe continuous deployment by Hawker, which was also last year, very nice presentation which you gave on the safety element out of context parts in the extreme. But then it's just an egress presentation. So this will basically just spark a lot of further discussion. And hopefully this fits also in the afternoon track with requirements, traceability, and the kernel CI basal parts. This will into some of the topics. Then we wrap up day 2, and we have an on-site rooftop pizza party hosted by Volvo. So thanks for this. And we go into the last day, day 3 morning, with trustable software framework as an explicit session. This is a project recently brought to Eclipse. But as Paul is also very active in the trustable, he will present some work around there. We've got a preview this morning, I guess I sent around, I made some post that there was a pre-workshop with Eclipse. We aligned with on this. So I guess I know already a few of the slides which you may present, and it will be great.
Yeah, much better.
And you see that Daniel will support, because Daniel currently applies the project to your protocol, another Eclipse Foundation project, which is there in Rust, and therefore you see this is then a little bit of the role of Rust. And I heard Rust around here, so I think it will be definitely a topic. As we had a little bit of scale constraints, very small here, it includes in features. If you think you're not the Rust person and you need to prefer a copy over a discussion, go in there, relax a little bit there, and then we go at the end with the best practices standard. This will pick up a lot of the topics which we had, and we will wrap up the workshop at 12, and you can spend the afternoon seeing the beautiful city of Lund, going to the beach at Lomma, or do sightseeing in Copenhagen, whatever you like. Great. Next one is project orientation, 2 or 3 slides, then we're done. For those who are new, you're here at the ELISA workshop. ELISA at the Enabling Linux and Safety Application Project. We're looking into safety critical applications, dependability and reliable system. We cover various industry and use cases, which you can see from the participants, from robotics, aerospace. We have medical also involved there. You see the projects which we're talking about. We will talk about reproducible system during the days, and everything toggles around certain elements, could be software you use in the form of tools. We talk about processes, and so this is basically the artifacts that user generate, which leads to the next slide. Or we jump over it, I guess.
The space thing.
Yeah.
There is just, I think, at the mission statement, so it's basically just saying that we have this element processes and tools, which should be amenable to safety certification, which means we are not creating a safe Linux system, but we help others to create functional safety applications with the usage of Linux. I'm straightening it in this way because we have the safe or safety Linux part. So I can go over this. And I have this later again, but I really like this. Oh, I missed to remove the animation. So this is something which I bring up again and again. So those which don't have the first time seeing ELISA, you've definitely seen this slide because it ends up almost in every presentation I do. But it's like assessing whether a system is safe requires understanding the system sufficiently. And this is something like important to have, because people approach me and say, oh, I want to create a safety critical application based on Linux. Say, okay, what experience do you bring? Do you have experience in Linux? No, I want to learn this. Okay, but you bring experience in safety. No, I want to learn this. Okay, that may be a hard thing. So you can go this path, but it will be much harder. So you should bring enough understanding of the system. And for this, if you want to make use of Linux, you need to understand the system context, where is Linux used, which components, features, and all the things you need from the system, and evaluate them. Are they fitting my need? Do they fulfill the demands? Are there risks imposed? How do I mitigate risk? And most likely when you do so, you will find gaps in there. So I think that's the last bullet point we should pull up. And well, about these gaps, that's mainly where we're talking about here also. We wouldn't be here if all the gaps would have been solved, so we just need to go forward. And it can be any kinds, it can be tools, elements, documentation process, right? This is our liability slide. What ELISA cannot do is engineer a system to be safe, right? Because it's still your responsibility when you create a system to make a safe system. We also cannot guarantee that you know how to use the processes which we are describing and that you apply the process correctly. That's also your responsibility. And then there's often the question, will you create a safe Linux kernel version, whatever? And this is not, we need to see that we have an evolving kernel. There's coming new functionality in there, fixes, improvements, various kinds. We have a continuous improvement argument for the kernel, so it's improving over time. So we also need to have this in safety critical system. And yeah, you have legal obligation, liabilities, and so on. That's in there. Still, with all these limitations, we find a critical mass on people who are joining. So you can see there's a bunch of members from various industries. We are flowing in Red Hat as our premier members. You can also see that we have associate partners in there with AGL. We have the demo here today, but also civil infrastructure platform project, kernel CI as topic. Then we have university engagements, which are associate members. This bring all these things together. That's great. So we have also fluctuation. We have people coming, going, but I guess we drew by 6 members during the last year, which was quite a success, and also getting in new industry and direction and from all over the world.
This is what makes it possible for us to hold these sorts of workshops.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to our members as well.
Well, and again, that's a good point, because it's really great that the members took their invest into this project, because we really hold this workshop for free. Everybody could register, and a bunch of you are not ELISA members, but still you're here today and tomorrow for the workshop. You can join dinner and all the things, and it's great that we have our members supporting us in this mission. Okay, then, this was my last slide on this. Yes, so that's took me to the conclusion of the first session. What do you think? Thinking hats on. Get to work. It is a workshop. I hope we come to a more working style and less presentation style like we had in the last workshop. This was the feedback which we got. And that's the first part.
And then,
just 15 minutes over.
so basically a short summary of how ELISA has progressed in the past year. It's one of the requests right into the Ask Me Anything. So which slide do you want me to leave up for that? We did get a request through the chat.
From the 2024.
Yeah, from 2024 to now.
Okay, let me just think it's not, I'm not sure if it's really in the robot. I click this up. I need a break jingle music, some elevator music in the meantime.
Yeah, so something like that. So one of the things for anyone who's interested in getting a quick understanding of what's been happening in the last year, there's a bunch of videos now available on our YouTube channel, because each of the leads gave an online summary in February, and so that's going to bring you pretty much current. So just wanted to catch that off.
I will shortly share. Let's try it. Let's see if things break now.
I'll stop sharing now.
Here.
Okay.
Stop sharing.
We need to share them.
Yeah, let's press the share button. Screen. That's Japan, by the way. It's not what we achieved last year.
We achieved Japan.
Very glad to welcome the new Japanese members last year.
So this is from the annual update. So there's a recording on it, what has been happening. You see the notation file, permission, and so again, my favorite slide, 2024 recap. I mentioned the members. We had a great showcase demonstrator at the Embedded World, showing our systems work group system with Xen, Linux on, Zephyr on, XU 102. we had the first time Safe Systems with Linux micro conference at Linux Plumbers, where actually the requirements were derived from, or where we made the proposal, which is really going forward very well. We hosted safety critical software summits, so we could get the wider outreach. We will do this again this year in Japan, Europe, and US. We started the space grade Linux interest group. We had the workshop in Gotthard for this. Took a survey on different interests part of it. And what we heard a lot of times is that we didn't have enough visibility on the outputs which we're generating, and it's hard to find because we have a number of GitHub repos, we have YouTube channels, we have Google Drives and so on, and where we now create is an ELISA directory. And this should be kind of a knowledge hub where you find talks, where you find white paper, where you could find documentation, all the things. So that's what has been created. Here's the embedded world demonstrator. I feel like this was the suitcase built for it, which was shown at Collabra booth. They're not a member, but we're supporting on this. This was very nice from them. These were the topics of the micro conference. We also engaged with a bunch of communities. I think that's also where. So we made a closer connection with kernel CI. They're discussing now also how we get Bazel together, our requirements tool, how we can potentially increase traceability. So we have this during the next days. We made the first outreach to Eclipse also during last year to talk about how do the process SIG work together. And since then, also the automotive process SIG work group lead typically joined the systems work group lead because systems work from ELISA. There's strong overlaps. It has been done. There are seminars. The one from like the safety element is also in there from Håkan, who's here in the room, and we have also others from here. The kernel CI, which as you can see also it's knowledge base from the last year, which really helps, and we try to do cross community work there. Safety critical, but also just in an ecosystem and so on. Right. And we're currently considering to look out here. Outlook, it started last year and continues this year. We try to form a railways work group currently. This is going on. But that's the main thing on 2024. Well, there's some other question.
So is anyone online to make questions or any hands in the room of questions you've got? This is our Ask Me Anything session.
There is the question, is the Rust compiler fully certified now? Any particular versions? What does fully mean? Yeah, what does fully mean? There's a safety certified kerosene.
Yeah, kerosene is certifying the compiler. I believe they right now are releasing quarterly and following upstream essentially, which means the actual compiler is identical to the upstream one. But you get the safety related documentation, for that latest release that they're doing. I don't know any details. We can ping in Florian if you want to, I guess. But I think they are working right now on certifying the core standard library.
Yeah, I was going to ask if they were doing the libraries because I knew much time before.
I don't know how, whether there's roadblocks or anything but that's, if that is of general interest, then I'm certain that, for example, Florian, CEO of Harris Systems, would be happy to give us an update.
And we can talk some more about that in the Rust.
In Rust session.
Yeah, so the purchasing one, they definitely included some of the core library. It wasn't all the standard library. And also, really important thing is that they donated, or made the actual language specification part of the Rust community itself. So that's actually now going to be maintained by the Rust community, which was really taking a step off. How can we specify this language in a way that means it is possible to certify it? I think it's a really useful thing. And an illustration of how sometimes we think this safety stuff is just for the people who really care about safety, but actually sometimes it's genuinely useful for other people as well. That was the main thing that the Rust community learned.
Well, now share the screen, I will not see it.
There we go.
Now we need to find the share button again. There. Yeah. Right, and we have the ask me
Okay.
anything about ELISA.